And we're live. Good morning. Oh, she's not. Let's see. All right, welcome to Manhunt. Today is Monday. And what is it? February 9th. February 9th. This is just a daily Bible study stream where I attempt to sit here with a 3-week-old, play a difficult video game, and talk about the Bible at the same time. Chill. You want this? Nope. I didn't expect it to be a struggle right out the gate. I'm good. I don't want to grow my stream. I want it to stay exactly the size that it is today with no one else here. Okay, story time. Just like a little opening here. Okay. Yesterday my kids came out. Sometimes you struggle to know like how you're doing as a parent. And I'm not doing the best in the world, but it was a blessing yesterday because the kids came on there like, I've got a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. And they made this little spot under a tree to go and do a Bible study. Wow, he hit me midair. Going to a Bible study every week. This is not good. How is he hitting me perfectly every time? I can't even get to that thing. Nope, not on the game now. Right. So that's just a blessing. They're going to go and read the Bible themselves. I'm assuming that my 9-year-old's going to have to do the majority of the reading. 9 and 7-year-old. Because my 5-year-old is not a phenomenal reader as of yet. Oh, he's pulling out a bow again. Okay. All right. We didn't make a lot of commitments yesterday, so we don't need to go over those. But we do need to go over gratitude. It's bothering me how covered up this guy's. So, every day we go over something we're thankful for. If you're here and you want to give us something you were grateful for, let me know. Mine are, yesterday it was super nice. So it was like, I don't need to be promoted. I'm good. I don't need anyone to see this. Yesterday was super nice. We got to go be outside a lot, and we're in the like Midwest where usually it's super cold all winter long. So that was super nice. I was super grateful for that. Second thing, the neighbors that we have are just phenomenal. Like we live in kind of a, I don't know, like an older neighborhood, as in like the people here are older. It's like yesterday one of our neighbors brought us donuts, and another one came over to hold the baby. And it's just the most like interconnected neighborhood we've ever lived in, and I'm grateful for that. Okay, I've got 9 heals. You can now see the Knight of the Great Jar's red summon signs. Kind of uncomfortable hold right now with how you land. Here. One time? So. I don't know if that's going to go well. We'll see. Okay, last thing. Third thing I'm grateful for. We got to take our daughter to church for the first time, which was fun. Ooh, that looks like a hard guy to beat. We got to do it, though. So that was just a blessing. And we also got to see how cool our church community is. Just one hit. Okay. Not sure I'm cut out for this engagement as of yet. Okay. We're going into 1 Samuel chapter 23 today. It's going to be a good chapter. I'm just going to go ahead and start getting into it. Okay. Now that told David, behold, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are robbing the threshing floor. Where did we end last time? What was... Okay, so Saul has just killed the priests of God. One of them escaped to David, and he's with David now. I'm just going to blow past this. To scare you, I'm not going to let it. I didn't realize this was a dead end. Is this a dead end? I can make that try. All right. Okay, so then he hears, hey, the Philistines are fighting. Is he still chasing me? So, therefore, David inquires of the Lord, shall I go and attack these Philistines? And the Lord said to David, go and attack the Philistines and save Keilah. But David's men said to him, behold, we are afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines? Okay. We go. What is this? Put it over here. Go into Caleb. So they're fearful. Then David inquired of the Lord again. So David's angle is correct here. I think yesterday when we were reading and he was like escaping into these random other places, that was not of God's design, which is why he ends up getting a prophet sent to him to say, hey, go back into the land of Judah, because he keeps trying to go out to like the Philistine areas. But we see him now seemingly with his right head because he's looking at saving people from the Philistines, their enemies. Which is great. He inquires the Lord again. And the Lord answered him, arise, go down to Keilah, for I will give the Philistines into your hand. So I'm taking care of this. You should go. And so David and his men went. So the men are still willing to follow David regardless of their fear. They went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines and brought away their livestock and struck them with a great blow. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. When Abiathar, the son of Ahimelech, had fled to David to Keilah, he'd come down with an ephod in his hand. So this is one of the priests that was attacked that escaped. Anything cool? Oh, we get these two things. Let's do it. 1 second, guys. That'll do it.
Is there anything more?
Right. Albert here too. All right. Excuse me. Okay. And it was told Saul that David had come to Keilah. And Saul said, God has given him into my hand, for he has shut himself by entering a town that has gates and bars. So interesting thing here. David's heart going into this town was to save the inhabitants from his enemies. Saul's, on the other hand, is literally to go and imprison and besiege this city. So essentially do just what the Philistines were doing in an effort to maintain his power and authority. Right? So he's like, hey, this thing has gates and bars. We can lock all the people in there, force them to give us David. And if they don't, we can wipe them all out, just like the Philistines are planning to do. And so essentially he's become Israel's enemy based upon his pride and hunger for power. Or that's what I'm reading it, at least. So, kind of super interesting. So, literally it says, okay, you want this? Might have to pick her up again. I'm not sure. So Saul summoned all the people for war to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. David knew that Saul was plotting against him, and he said to Abiathar the priest, bring the ephod here. Now, quick call out to what it's talking about here. Within the ephod, there were these things called Urim and Thummim. It is fairly unclear. Some people believe they're like stones. But there's no like direct, from my knowledge, there's no like direct biblical explanation of exactly what they are. But they were used to essentially cast lots and like speak directly to God and get his direction, his opinion, what should happen. Is there a dragon down here? So he gets the ephod, and David says, O Lord, the God of Israel, your servant has surely heard that Saul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city on my account. So even he understands he's coming to like flatten this town that I've just saved from the enemies of God. So will the men of Keilah surrender me into his hand? Will Saul come down as your servant has heard? O Lord God of Israel, please tell your servant. And the Lord said, now this could be, he said, it could also be they used Urim and Thummim, and it came out, he will come down. And then David said, will the men of Keilah surrender me and my men into the hand of Saul? And the Lord said, they will surrender you. So they're going to give you up. David is going to come down and do this. Hey, look, there's another. Here. Hold on, let me get my jellyfish. Oh, jellyfish probably isn't useful against a ghost, huh? Probably not the best plan. That's all right. Okay. It's over here. We're just going to keep wailing on him. We gotta move. Hold on. Ouch. Close. It was close. It was close. One more. Easy. Every time. First strike. My jellyfish didn't even help. So that was a little disappointing. You doing okay? You just get to stay here with me? Oh, no. Okay, so the men of Keilah, they will surrender you, God says. Hello. Gonna stand up? What are you doing? Hold on. There we go. Okay. Then David and his men, who were about 600, rose and departed from Keilah. So I think this is not him fleeing just out of fear. This is God saying, hey, yeah, this is what's going to happen. Get out of here. Go. Do your thing. So They get up, they arise, and what I'm saying is this is the same as them, like trying to remember when he tries to flee to Achish, the king of Gath, and he has to act like he's insane because they're like, "Aren't you the king of Israel?" But essentially, he's told, "Hey, this is what's going to happen," so he gets up to go and flee. Hello, this is Bull. What is that? Let there be precious item. What? I don't know what that means. Oh, this used to be a church. I think that's the point. Maybe. All right. David has men about 600, arose, departed from Keilah, and they went wherever they could go. And Saul was told that David had escaped from Keilah, and he gave up the expedition. Here we go. He gave the expedition. So he doesn't go and destroy it. Good morning. Welcome. And David remained in the strongholds in the wilderness, in the hills country of the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul sought him every day, but God did not give him into his hand. What I find interesting is like the symbolism that that Saul's now one motive, like his only pressing desire, is to destroy the anointed one of God. It's very, very interesting to me that it's gone so far that literally one of his towns, David, his enemy, had to go and save from God's enemies, even though that was literally the king's job, was to go and save them from the Philistines. And he's told that when he's put into goodness girl, when he's put into his kingship, he's like, you're going to war for your people and you're going to save them. And now it's shifted to where he literally becomes the enemy of the people, right? He goes from being their savior to, not only does he not save them, David has to go with his men while he's on the run from Saul and save them from the Philistines, but he's actively hunting down those the people and hunting down David and bringing about the same calamity that the enemies of God do. Seems like it's going to be cool. Okay. But God did not give him his hand. David saw that Saul had come out to seek his life. David was in the wilderness of Ziph at Horesh, and Jonathan, Saul's son, rose and went to David at Horesh and strengthened his hand in God. So super interesting that Saul regularly is able to get in touch with and find David. I'm assuming they had like friendships and spies that would go around for each other to get them back together. But God keeps Saul away from David and allows Jonathan to find him, no problem. Okay, where am I headed? I need to continue on up this way. I have too many. What number is that? 4? That way. Okay. So, once again, we see the goodness of Jonathan as a friend, going to strengthen his brother, his friend, going to help him, in spite of what it would mean if Saul finds out about it. He goes ahead and does it anyway. And he said to him, it also says, what I find interesting here is it says he strengthened his hand in God. So you can see Jonathan truly is seeking what God is looking for, what God desires. And Saul is completely... Am I going to be attacked here? Baby girl's starting to lose it, so I'm worried about getting attacked and not being it. You think I can... Yep, you can. It's not going to work. I feel like that should have... Oh, that's not... Here we go. Nope. Yeah, deserved that one. That was bad. That's okay. Not a big deal. And he said to him, "Do not fear, for the hand of Saul my father shall not find you." So his assertion is not that Saul is no longer looking for him, but it's like, hey, you don't need to fear it. God's going to protect you. And I'm confident of this. Like, God, Saul's hand will not find you. He'll try. And then he says something super interesting, which is, and he's alluded to this multiple times. This is the first time it comes out of his mouth directly and like clearly, which says, "You shall be king over Israel, and I shall be next to you. Saul, my father, also knows this." So Saul's trying to fight the direction and and that's what's super interesting. Is like Saul is literally at this point fighting the will of God, right? He was seeking it out before. He keeps looking for God's favor, and now he's actively just fighting directly against it. And the two of them made a covenant before the Lord. David remained at Horesh, and Jonathan went home. Then the Zephites went up to Saul at Gibeah, saying, "Is not David hiding among us?" Hold on. I'm going to be distracting him for a second. I'll grab this. No. Oops. Got it. Why am I not rolling? Oh, almost died there. I feel like these things should be... There we go. We got it. All right. Okay, so the Zephites come out and they're like, "Hey, he's hiding among us." Man, that didn't give me a thing. That's sad. "Now come down, O king, according to all your heart's desire to come down, and our part shall be to surrender him into the king's hand." And Saul said, "May you be blessed by the Lord." So I'm actively against the Lord, but may you be blessed by him. Yeah, it's crazy to me. "For you have had compassion on me. Go, make yet more sure. Know and see the place where his foot is, and who has seen him there. For it is told to me that he is very cunning. See therefore and take note of all the lurking places where he hides, and come back to me with sure information. Then I will go with you. And if he is in the land, I will search him out among all the thousands of Judah." And they arose and went to Ziph ahead of Saul. Now David and his men... Hold on. Got it out. All right. Got some cookbooks. All right. David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon in the Arabah to the south of Jeshimon. And Saul and his men went to seek him. And David was told, and he went down to the rock and lived in the wilderness of Maon. And when Saul heard it, he pursued after him in the wilderness of Maon. Saul went on one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side of the mountain. And David was hurrying to get away from Saul, and Saul and his men were closing in on David and his men to capture them. Now, quick thing here that I just want to call attention to. So we're hitting a point in the story where literally all of David's options are running out. He is on the very... What do you think this is? I've never really thought about the fact that's like a wall stopping people from getting into Kaled. All his options have run out. He is being closed in on completely. And I think this... One second here, I'll be right back. Calming down. Okay, all options have run out. And this is what we see, I think, over and over again is God allows for the trial. He allows for the tribulation. He allows for these things to happen, but he always provides a way. And that's where I think when we're reading It happens in 1 Samuel 21. I think they touch on it in 22, but it happens again in 27, where he actively goes. He goes into the Philistine land coming up, which we'll read here in a couple days, and actually lives underneath the king of Achish in Gath, right? And he's given Ziklag, and he essentially becomes one of the Philistines. And I think there's arguments for and against this, but when we see the prophet being sent to him saying, hey, go back into the land of Judah, he does. And I think it's God's will that he stays there. And then this is proving right now, like, there are moments, first off, David is not a perfect man, and that's okay, right? God is like, God's grace is what saves us, and that's an important key aspect. And it's his faith, it's our faith that he cares about, which David does have a proper faith. David does seek after the Lord. He does understand God's character. And so, like, yeah, he has moments of weakness, but he always, like, that's the key there, right, is this thing. I don't know how to get down there. Is it over here? Sorry, but that's the key difference is Saul does not have a correct understanding of who God is. His faith is not in God, it's in his own strength. And David, while he does have these failing moments, does have a proper view of God, right? He does have faith in who God is, in God's unfailing love and his mercy and all that. And so, personally, I believe that is literally the difference between the two men. Going down over here. And why we see such different outcome, because David does, like, when he's going into the Philistine land, he's going against God's plan, right? He's going against what God wants for him. But we see here, and this is like the perfect proven example, in my mind, of trying to talk to people. This is a perfect example of, like, God is showcasing his goodness, right? He's at the very edge of, oh my goodness, he's at the very edge of his ability. He's on the verge of defeat and of them being caught, and then we see God come through. And so David was hurrying to get away from Saul, and Saul and his men were closing in on David and his men to capture them. A messenger came to Saul, right? So right at the very, very edge, the verge of them being caught, a messenger shows up. There's so many of them. I'm just going past them. Hello. You think he's like that didn't work. So, messenger shows up to Saul. Hurry and come. The Philistines have made a raid against the land. So God is literally using the enemies of God to go forth and to have his will be done, right? To stop Saul from capturing David. There's a bug in my coffee. It's really bothersome. So, we're going to be all right. You guys are going to be disgusted as I keep drinking it. Okay. So Saul returned from pursuing after David and went against the Philistines. Therefore, that place was called the Rock of Escape. And David went up from there and lived in the strongholds of En-Gedi. All right. I don't think this is going to work on my horse. I'm going to do it alpha horse. I'm going to do some fire. Oh. He's like a rock. Away. Oh man, it goes far. It goes far. Alright, let's get in there. All right, so that's what I got at a 1 Samuel 23. Nice. What can we take from this? That I think even when life doesn't look like what we think it should look like, and realistically, like the struggles that most of us are dealing with are so far inferior to anything David went through. I understand there are people who have actual like real problems. I have yet to experience any real problems. Mainly, they're just a bunch of consequences for stupid actions I've taken. But regardless of that, like God always makes a way, and He may allow for that to be the end of my own rope, right? Like the end of my confident trust in Him. But at the end of the day, like he is going to have His way, and it's going to be for my good. And that's only because of the grace of Christ, right? I'm only God's chosen because I'm part of Christ. All right. So today's commitments. I do this each morning because it's essentially my public journal. I'm going to. I want to do my morning devotion with my wife, my evening devotion with my kids. We try to do that every day. Still don't have get enough. So that's one of my main goals. I'm going to do that. I also want to get an hour workout in today. That'll be all right. Excuse me. And hold to my, I want to at least hold to my calorie count, if not actively hold to my, I got like a protein goal for each day. So those are things I'd like to hold to today. Remember, physical training is of some value. It's not that it's of zero value. So there is good that comes from us actively training our bodies, keeping them in shape. I feel like that should be a spot right there. Okay. Usually there's a hidden path. Oh. And we're running out of time. Baby girl does not want to be where she is anymore. Try up. See that? What do you mean try up? Try fire? I don't know what that means. Let's try fire. It's fine. I don't feel like that was mind-blowingly great. There's a lot of them. I just want to grab that thing. You think I can just grab that? Get out. That's all I wanted. And this right here. Now I'm good to go. Let's roll. Okay, I think that's about it though. There's actually a lot more than that, but I don't see anything above me. I'd also like to write more of the word, make some more progress there. And then, ouch. I'm doing one social post a day, so I got to do that as well. So with that, I think that's about it. Not a big fan of fighting these guys. Oh, I don't have a shield out. That's probably part of my issue. There we go. Jessica Allen is following on Twitch. I thought you were already following, Jessica. Welcome. I need to find a way to showcase people who follow and stuff, because I can't track it while I'm on here. And then I don't ever do like the whole streamer thing where you're like, hey, thanks for the follow. Ouch. I'm great. How are you? Heavy door's going to open somewhere. All right, we're fighting this thing before we're done. That's our rule. I don't really know where the door was. Yeah, I'm not sure where this door is. We need demonic blood to tell us he's not here. I don't know how I get up there. Is it here? Nope. Nope. Alright. Down. Get out. It says try up, but I already tried up and there was nothing up here. Door is. Might be getting off. Might not do it. Yep, I think we're done. Unless there's like a doorway in one of these side walls. I'm probably just blind, but can't find it. Well, this has been fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Mountain Time. We are going through 1 Samuel chapter 24, and I believe this one is where maybe I need to do this. Look at that. That looks like where I need to go. I think this one is where they're actually in the cave with Saul himself. So tomorrow morning we'll be going through that. Oh, man, what a delayed swing. Nope, delayed still. All right, we're not doing that. All right. Grab a head. Is it really? Oh, there is. Okay, but that's about it. I think we're gonna go. I was gonna try to make it to the boss at the end of this thing, but I feel like this is much larger than I expected it to be. So, where I have left. All right, I think we're good. Let's grab this thing. If we're near a door, we'll go through it. If not, we're done. I don't see a door. It's going great. It's a great stream. It's at least above terrible. Nope. Still didn't find a door. That's nuts. Okay, I don't know. All right, we'll be fighting the boss of this thing first thing on the next round. You guys have a great day. Keep Christ the center focus of your life. Stay in step with the Spirit, and we will see you tomorrow morning. All right, bye.